Hello everybody, Thorgal here, and welcome back to another episode of Avant 3 here on the FTOG server. Today is a special episode that I want to dedicate to my patrons. Now, I've been doing YouTube for over 2 years, and this is going to be my 505th episode. And many of you probably know that small YouTubers like myself, we don't make any money from the ads and so on YouTube. I mean, yeah, we make a few dollars. That's how I'm gonna put it, okay? But it's really, it's not even enough to fill my car with gas. And so the patrons that have been supporting me for a long time now, many of them, you know, they make it possible for me to buy better equipment. Like I think I am on the, I had 2 microphones and this is my second headset now. They make it possible so I can pay for the editing software that I lease on a monthly basis. They make it possible that I can upgrade my computer if it's needed. You know, just support financially, because even though it is very hard for me to talk about money, it's not in my nature to ask for money and so on. Everybody needs money, especially if you do YouTube full-time. A lot of you people probably don't know that I don't have a job besides doing YouTube, which I consider my job. You know, it's the best job that I ever had, of course. I get to play video games, even though it's not all glamorous, I'm gonna call it, okay? There's a lot of times that, you know, you gotta grind things out, you gotta prepare things, and so on. And I think that without the support of the patrons, that I wouldn't put out as many videos as I do. So today is a big thank you to my patrons that have been supporting me for a long time now. I really appreciate it. I can never say that enough. It means a lot to me, and also my family, of course. And today we are going to build something over here for the patrons. I'm gonna call this my, I don't know, Patron Hall of Fame or Patron Hall or something like that. It doesn't really need to have a name, but I wanted to build a temple that is similar to the Greek temples that you guys probably know. I think they are called Acropolis or the Parthenon and so on. These typical temples that have a lot of pillars around it and so on. On the inside, you usually have statues for gods they believed in and so on. But of course, here I'm going to have a lot of things for my patrons inside. But we gotta get started with the temple first. And you guys see I've been busy here. This outline here, the wool, has been here I think for 3 weeks now. Just I wanted to make sure that I get a big spot. And I'm here at spawn. This is between Grok's mob tower and the Meteorator 9000 that I set up. But over here with wool, I set up measurements. So this is 10 right there. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 by 30. 10, 20, 30. And then what I did, I actually did that today. I just ran some powered lanterns along here. So once I have, because you guys know that we never have night. No, you just saw it start raining and it turned it off. And now as soon as the sun goes down, give it a second, it's gonna pop right up. There it is. Oh, it was perfect timing. From Toddy's weather station. So we don't have mobs at spawn, but of course if I put a roof over this and then it's getting dark and whatnot, I might have mobs. So I just wanted to make sure we don't have any, and I just ran powered lanterns around here once. Very cheap to make, so I shouldn't get any spawns. And then I started with pillar design. Hey, mistake in the sun. Whoa, that was the wrong one here. There we go. This was the first one I did, you know, with chisel and bits. And the foot here is just so I had something to put it on. And this is just with regular quartz blocks. And I liked it, but I wanted to see what a more rougher would look like, right? So then this one, but I asked a couple patrons and they told me, you know what, we like this one better, so I'm gonna go with that one. But then I did the, you guys see, I've used this block right here, the chiseled one. Right here, the pillar quartz block. Because it has these stripes built in, right? Let me just put some down real quick. I'm sure you guys know what it looks like, but this is what that looks like. And I like this better because I don't have these vertical bars where the blocks connect and this horizontal one there in the middle. Well, that one didn't bother me that much, right? But this one right here, because then you can see the sections. And this one makes it, I think, easier to see. You see, when I'm going further away, it looks more pillarish, if that makes any sense. And I also played around up here. I have 3 of the first designs sitting here. And then this is the new design. And then I also wanted to play around with the foot, the base of it. So I did this first, but when I spread that around, it didn't look very good. It was too square. Then I started chiseling away on this. And I think that's what I'm going to use as the foot, the base of it. And on the top, wherever the roof is going to be, that this pillar actually holds, I want to be more ornamental. There's going to be like swirlies and stuff in it, but I figured it out when I get to it. So now, this is, what did I say, 60 by 30. 60, right? 10, 20, 30, 50 by 30. But then when I started with the pillar to spread them out properly, I didn't like that. Initially, I had it an odd number, so there was 5 pillars. But you know, that would have been meant that this is the middle. Well, I don't want to walk in the middle into this temple through a pillar. So then I decided I want to have the entrance, the highest point is going to be right here. So then I extended it over here. So there's actually going to be 1 more pillar here. And then, so this got a little bit wider, and it also got a little bit longer because I wanted to keep the same spacing. There is 4 blocks, and there's 6 blocks on this one. On the long side, I went a little bit further, but again, I wanted it to be even and not end right here, because then again, the middle would have had 1 pillar, but I don't want to have an odd number. Simple as that. So I made it a little bit longer, so it's gonna come to here, which is fine. It doesn't matter. I'm not, you know, I'm not restricted to only use this 50 by 30. So you guys see, I'm gonna need a little bit more shaving over here and stuff. But I wanted to show you something here before I get started, and that is how I'm going to get these pillars back. You know, if I break this pillar right now, I get the actual pillar. This design I have, right? And if I shave it down with the chisel in bits here, let's say I make it a plane, and I come here, you know, it takes a long time to get all this. And of course, I don't have a chisel bag on me. There we go. It's all cleaned up. Ooh, I can put my armor, a little more room. So what I'm actually gonna do is, this is this one, so I'm gonna put one of those right there. And I'm gonna put a regular one right here. I'm actually gonna make a design of this. So now it's a design. And now I can come here, and you guys see that? I place it. So now it's gonna make me the full block again with all the chisel parts that I have left over. Check it out, and now I can break it, and I actually get the block back. So 49, I think that's how many we had. Let's test real quick. So now if I break this, it should be 50. Yep, there you go. So that way I don't have all these single chisel blocks and so on laying around, because I won't need them anymore because we're going with this design here. And then of course I'm gonna do the same for that one. I'm just gonna keep using the same pattern. Bam, there we go. And just replace them, so that way. And I thought I'm gonna show you guys that trick. I didn't think of this until today. Just makes cleanup a lot easier instead of having to worry about all these chisels. And also, usually guys, I do time lapses on big builds like this. But I'm gonna try something else today. I'm gonna build section by section, then we'll talk about it. What my ideas are behind, you know, why am I choosing one design over another, give you a few choices of what I decided between. And I'm just gonna have cuts between. Okay, so I'm out of this now. So that means I do need to chisel down a few to get enough stuff so I can get the rest down. So I'm gonna go ahead and now clean up here. I'm gonna get rid of all these designs because I have the one I want there. Then I'm gonna pull in the floor and replicate this all the way around, and then landscape over here and as well as over here. And then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, I feel like these pillars are lost. They are way too small for my taste. I mean, look at this. This is enormous, guys. I said I wanted to have even on both sides, but now it turned out to be odds on both sides because I wanted to keep the spacing of 6, right? There's 6 blocks between each pillar in all ways. I wanted it to be symmetrical because, well, that just makes a better looking temple for the design I'm going for. But I feel like they are way... I mean, look at this. It's huge. It is humongous, this temple so far. But I feel like these are way too skinny, these pillars. Way too skinny. So, I came up with a 3x3 pillar design here now. Right there. And I think I need to figure out the spacing. I'm not going to put the decorations on the bottom like I have here. I think I'm going to worry about that stuff all the way in the end. Now, my problem is that I'm going to have to figure out how to do this, okay? Because, well, this is one pillar now. And, I mean, I can always change the size of it to make it better. So that will be 3x3. But now this is because it's going from even to an odd number. It's gonna look weird. So that tells me that now, let's say, okay, this is 3. So I want, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like that. Let's keep a 5 spacing. So now that would be the second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, this so far, of course, lines up because I'm just adding 1 to each side. But that means I'm going to have... If I go with 4 pillars, I really wanted to have 6, but the problem is, let's just count this here for a second. So then that would be the 5th one. And then we would have, well, let's just use these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So that would be... Yeah, I'm running out of blocks, but you guys get it, I think. Whoops. Want these right there. Oh, I can just break the ones down here. What? Get out of here, grass. Okay, so I'm gonna need... like that. But then that would mean it's right next to the meterator. If I do that. And then it even comes out, so I can't do that. I can come out a couple more blocks here. That's no problem. If I shift this over, I would have to shift this right here 1 over, the 3 rows. That's fine. I cannot come further over here because then that's just gonna mess up this river. And I really don't want to do that. I like the way that is formed. So I guess I'm gonna go with 5 again. But like I said, I'm gonna have to figure out now how to do this to take these all down and then replace them all with this design. Or maybe I'm just gonna do the front 5 here real quick before I do the rest, so I can look at it and get a better feel. I'm gonna show you this side again first, just so you can remember how skinny these pillars are, right? I do like the form of them, but look at this now. It's much thicker. I like this, you know, for the size of this temple, this is much better. But you guys see the left 3 are different than the 2 on the right. And that is, I'm not a big fan of how detailed these pillars are. You guys see there's a lot of flickering and stuff, which is probably going to change a lot when there is some focal points and decorations and all that. I think it's kind of hard building with white on white on white on white. It's pretty bonkers, but so this is the one that you guys see on the left hand side. You see very detailed. And then I made this one for the right pillars. And when you look at that screenshot of what I'm kind of trying to build, you see that those pillars are a little rougher than the ones on the left here. These are very fine. That's like a finger thick, while these ones are like a hand thick, right? This looks more realistic to me, you know, much stronger and so on. So I think I'm gonna change the left 3 to this design also, and Now, of course, comes the fun of changing all the other pillars again. It drives me bonkers. It's crazy how much work this is, but that's chiseling bits for you. Here you guys can see I'm not using the middle now, just to... I don't really need to save on materials or anything like that, but I'm just gonna leave it hollow. And I'm probably gonna shoot a light down on each one of them when I am done here. This one right there. Just so I know mobs cannot really spawn, but just to make sure that there is light down there. In case the power ever goes out, I would hate to have, you know, stuff spawn inside these pillars, because it's gonna be dark in there. But anyways, so again, another cut, and I'm gonna go ahead and replace all these pillars. And then also think of how tall I want it to be. I'm probably gonna have to pull the wall across right here, that beam or whatever you want. It's gonna be probably 3 high, at least 2, possibly 3 high, and then we're gonna have to have this slightly sloped roof on top. Okay, so I think that these actually need to be much taller, probably even this tall, like where my crosshair is right now. So I don't really want to spend the entire episode on pillars, so let me go ahead and finish all the pillar work and see how tall I want it and figure this out, and then we'll continue from there. Finally have some progress to show you all. Again in 3. I finally have some progress to show. It took me... It's the next day now. I think altogether I spent close to 6 hours on the pillars and everything. It's unbelievable how much work it is to just build these pillars. Even though you have all the designs and you can copy them. And of course now it's gonna rain. Go away, rain. Dottie, weather station's gotta be faster. I'm kidding. I'm so happy that we have it, and it's gone. Good. And, you know, I noticed that the proportions are not right. If you look at the screenshot, the temple should be a little bit taller. But I think it is close enough for now. I really don't want to rebuild this. It looks pretty good, actually. I do like it. I did play around a lot with the step up over here. I first had it 1. You know, always 1 slab block. And it got way too tall. It didn't look good. So, but I'm liking this 2 steps. And it comes out to be 3 in the middle, which is, I like it actually. I do like that this is 1 wider than the rest of it. Now over here on the end, I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do, because I'm not a big fan because we have the overhang right here, right? But that's flush with this right there. Sorry about that. Let me turn off the notifications. And over here, this also doesn't look right, but it's not bad looking. But I am gonna wait until the end to play around with that. You guys see I started a little bit chiseling in here again. Which brings me to one thing. I think that if I ever build another project where I know I'm gonna have a lot of chiseling bits, I think I'm gonna build the entire thing first. Whoa, I forgot one thing down here. Did not clean it up. Give me that. I think I would clean it up. Blah, blah, blah. I would build the entire thing first. Which is usually my motto, right? Build it first and then make it look pretty with, you know, exchanging blocks and so on. But the pillars here, I think I'm happy that I did it, because if I would have made those just 2 by 2, it would have looked a lot more bulky, and I would have never thought about going to 3 by 3, which is, I'm happy about having the 3 by 3 now. Now, of course, I still gotta do some decoration down here, and especially on top, that ornamental stuff here. But now the next task is I have to replicate this over to the other side, finish pulling the roof all the way across, and then of course also make this wall here, which is gonna be, it should be this pattern right here. And because this is the same as over here, an odd number pillars, it should work out. I was a little bit worried about that it might, you know, be 1 block off or something, so I cannot continue with this design here. You guys see I did the same thing on the inside, and of course this is 3 thick, okay? Because I needed to cover the pillars completely on top, like that. I'm quite happy so far how it turns out. There's lots of work to do, and especially, I'm pretty sure that back in the days, even though they probably used a lot of marble and stuff like that, when they built those temples, they weren't just sandstone or something, I'm guessing, what this temple is actually made out of, or some kind of a softer rock. But I think that they had a lot of decorations probably, and that's something I'm gonna have to figure out later on. How to make that, I'd like to inlay maybe some gold, I think would be very nice. It's gonna look very royal or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's gonna loosen up because everything, is just white on white on white on white on white. It's not that pretty, but it's getting there. So, now I got the beautiful task of replicating this over there, which luckily I made the chisel designs here. Let me get some of this out real quick. Yeah, let me just show you down here real quick instead of wasting time putting it over there. I made another card here. I had another 6, but I made a 12 just so I can store more stuff easily. So the way I go about it, so that would be, for example, one side, right? And because I made these right there, so I'll take out 1, 2, 3, and then I can just do that, okay? And then I would do the next section. I built them all first, the next section, next section, next section, and then I'll take these and swap them out for the middle 3. You guys see, I don't usually keep designs because I can just copy it, but this one here, I knew I'm gonna need so often until this is done. And then you just do the bottom row. Kinda wish there was an AoE pattern. Like, you could make a 3x3 or something. That would be so awesome, but it's probably super hard to implement. There you go. And that is one of these intersections here. That's what that looks like. So that's not hard to do, but still, it's a lot of patterns, a lot of copying. And I'm gonna get busy now. The other problem I have, just so I can show you guys real quick, is I cannot use my builder's wand. Let's get a few stacks out. Let's check it out. See what happens is if I come here and do that, for some reason it doesn't do the bottom ones. So what I do here, just to show you how to make it a little bit easier for me, is I do every second one by hand. Like that. So I'm gonna do this by hand, this by hand, this by hand, and bring it all the way across. And then I can use the builder's wand and fill, you see, it just filled the 2 in there and fill this one. So it's a little bit less work, but it's still most of it placing by hand, which is okay. This is the easy part because it's not chiseling bits. And yeah, when I have this all the way replicated around, I think then I'm gonna spend some time finding out the ornament parts. And I think then we're gonna get started with the actual inside, the decorations, the things I want to dedicate to each one of the patrons. And I'll see you when I get to that. We are on the home stretch now. The building itself is done. I spent a lot of time here. I think I am on... I made a couple more. I think I used about 15 chisels so far, guys. Before this, I've used 1 chisel. Maybe 2. For all this roof here, and my base, and the bridge, and so on. But this is such a massive project. Every one of these pillars is 8 blocks, and then however tall it is. You guys see, I came up with a design for up here. Again, I'm trying to go by this picture as much as I can. And I noticed that the platforms that are actually holding this top structure, they were sticking out a little bit, which gave me more room. I think it took me 2 hours just to figure out how to make the design up here. And then replicating it turned into all these. It's 6 different designs because it's, it's the 8 blocks in the middle, and then I have another, what is that here? That's 5, 10, 16 blocks outside of that. So this is a very big design here, but I think it looks pretty good. Unfortunately, we can't really taper the pillars. You guys see in that screenshot that they are a little bit tapered, getting skinny on top, but I think that's fine. And then I started trying to figure out, another thing, by the way, guys. Up here, I had a lot of ugly shadows. It was nasty, okay? Down here, you can barely see anything. You see a little bit darker spots here, but it doesn't matter soon because we're gonna have all these stands for you guys here. And let me see here real quick where I can find one. There we go. Sneaky torch. And Toddy the Body told me that, because I was asking around, like, hey guys, you know of any light sources that you cannot see, right? And I knew about sneaky torches, but I did not know that sneaky torches work for the bottom half slab. So that is a really cool trick to keep in mind. It works. It doesn't work on the top one. Well, it just doesn't. But you could also saw glowstone in half. I tried that and it works. Grok gave me that idea. And then you can paint that in the painting machine. I didn't try that, but I'm pretty sure you can, okay? So, then I started laying out, you know, I have right now 19. I think 19. I gotta recount again, but I'm pretty sure 19 active patrons. But I didn't want to just have one block. Okay, I wanted this to be a little bit more fancy for every patron. So then I looked at the screenshot again and I saw that there was something on the inside of it. It was taller than this, but I didn't want to make it taller. So I'm starting to build this here. I made a different looking pillar than these. It's only a 2x2 and I used a different quartz, the regular one, where you can see these stripes right here. And the reason for that being is, you guys see, like if you look right here, you can tell a difference between the front and the back pillar. And I think that was really important, because otherwise it might be, when you come in here, quite confusing when you look around. Like this, it actually looks like this is the best view right here, because you don't see the riffles. So anyway, so I made these, and then I came up with this design up here, where I'm using these dented, I think that's what they're called here, right? Where is it? Right here. Yeah, dent, which is a connected texture. So like that, and if you put one next to it, it connects. So it's just a little nicer looking, and I'm going with the stairs around it to give it more of a profile. And this is gonna go all the way around, and then I can have 5, 10, 20 patron stands, and I still have the rest open over here. Now my thinking is I will probably keep it like here with the, whatever you call this upper level platform thing here, bridge, walkway, but over here I will keep it open, because I would still like to have a centerpiece here. I am not exactly sure yet what I want to put there. I'm gonna wait until the very end. But now, what is my idea behind these right here? So I came up with this pedestal design, right? And I wanted to have something big where I can write the names in. And there's a reason for that, and you guys are gonna see. Now, there's a couple different things, guys. I was first thinking of chiseling every patron a statue. But that is 19 different skins, guys. That would just take me weeks to do. I'm not that good with chiseling bits. And if you know, just do one, it's okay, I think. So I could have done that. But I thought it would be much cooler to use something like the armor stand. Check it out. And then I can get this. I got Glitch's head right here. And I'll show you guys where I'm going to get the heads from. And we can put that on there. So for every patron that I have their IGN, I'm the in-game name, in case you're not familiar with that abbreviation, I'm going to get their head. And then I was thinking of, you know, just putting diamond armor, something fancy on here. And then I didn't like these two sticks coming out, right? I'm like, man, they're a little bit boring. So I got two ideas here. I don't know how to equip something in the offhand. I don't know how to do that. If I knew, it'd be amazing. But I can... come on, put it on there. I can put a sword, and I chose this bronze sword just so because it looks cooler, I think. Or I can give them, every patron, a staff. But I do think that I kind of like the sword better. I think it looks better. Like I said, that like if I get a shield or something and I equip it, it changes with this hand. Let me get my shield out again. I'm pretty sure it's in here, right? Where did I put it? Hey, what? What's happening here? Give me that. You know, that'd be amazing if I could do that. But you guys see, it just puts that on. I don't know how to put it in the offhand. I don't know if it's possible. Actually, you know what? Let me shift right click. No, it doesn't work either. So I don't know how to put that on there. So for now, I'm just going to go with a sword. And if you guys know how to put it in the offhand, please let me know. And then I'll definitely give everybody a shield, because I think it looks cool. Stick is a little bit annoying, but I kind of like this. And like I said, over here, there is going to be some really cool lettering for everybody's name. that I'm going to show you in the very end, because that's all going to be chiseled. You guys see I just made a gold background, and I'm going to use black wool because it sticks out very nice. I wanted the names to be, you know, very easy. I want to be able to see them, read them very easy. You guys see the black looks really good on it. I like that. So let me go and show you guys real quick where I'm going to get all the heads from, because that's going to take me a few also to collect all those. And for players that I don't have an in-game name, for patrons, I'm sorry, that I don't have an in-game name, I think I'm just going to put a helmet, a diamond helmet for now, okay? But check it out. The way I'm going to get this is from Non-Sanity's head shop. And the way, oops, wrong one. The way it works is you just get a name tag. And I'm going to use Shack 2 as an example. That just pops into head real quick. So I just get a name tag and name it and set that. I'm not sure why he has the XP bottles, because I don't think it costs XP to use that. Maybe it was left over. It also says on here that use anvil to put exact player's name. So he might have had an anvil here before, but it's not needed anymore. And then I just put this on here, and it's going to disappear. And then after a few seconds, it's going to come back with that head. And I'm hoping... my magnet on? Yes. Let me break this one. Yeah, ha, I knew where the hole is. The magic happens down here, guys, in case you didn't see that before. He makes a snowman here with 2 blocks of snow and a pumpkin. Please don't shoot me. Should be in here. Yep, all these. And then when you right-click that with, I think he does it down here. I can see it because it's on his GP grid. He names that snowman, and then witches, or they throw a snowball, and the witch kills that snowman. And when snowmen have a name tag, or they're named, they will drop that player's head when they die. And he sucks it up and sends it back up top. I think it's... I didn't know about this trick. I think it is such a cool thing that he put here. I really like it. Close this up, and you guys see, there's Shakto's head. It just comes back here. So that is how I'm going to get all the heads. There we are, the minion. Okay, so I got a little bit more work to do. And... let me see here. What else? Oh, yes. I was also thinking of doing something in these windows here. Okay? Instead of having it this empty, I kind of want to figure out if I can make not stick figure drawings, okay? Or maybe not even in here. Maybe I put this up here and make a little bit of a theme. Like... just with the wool again, or maybe that's gonna be too... Maybe I'll do it with gold or something, but put like little, you know, like little soldiers with spears, and then maybe, I don't know, guys, maybe horses or something. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that, but put a little theme up here, because I'm sure that back in the days, they didn't just have it like this. They had a little decoration up there, but I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that. And then the last thing, the last idea I had, what might look good here, I'm going to have to see if it does or not, is make banners that kind of hang down from the middle here, or maybe from here. Just a little bit, like 2 or 3 blocks, just probably banners with the FTOG logo on it, because I don't have my own logo. Or maybe do FTOG... and then the patron logo, I was thinking, you know, because this is going to be the patron hall. So there's no reason not to use the patron logo. Anyways, I'm rambling here. You guys see I still got a little bit of work done. I got to replicate this, get all the heads together. And I am not sure what the order is going to be, guys. I was thinking alphabetically, by how much people are pledging, by how long they were. But there's not really, you know, a center or something to this. So I think I'm just gonna almost willy-nilly, like, let's just gonna stay here. And then maybe across from him, I'm gonna put my very first patron right there, which is Minecraft Mom. And so on. And we'll figure it out, guys. Everybody's gonna get a spot in here. And I hope you guys are gonna like it when it's done. About 20 hours later, altogether in the last 3 days, and I am finally at a point where I feel like it is finished to as much as I want to put into the temple for now. Like if you guys look in the wall behind me here where those empty squares are and stuff, I do plan on adding more stuff. A lot of these old ancient temples, they have carved stories like, you know, war scenes or seeing different emperors and whatnot, or just writings and stories and so on. And I did start to chisel a little bit. I removed it again because it looked really bad, guys. I don't know how to draw, so it's very hard for me to put anything up there. But I do want to give it another go here in the near future. And of course, when I change anything on a temple, I'm always going to show you guys. And I also want to hire MG Rose. She is the resident chisel and bits master. She does a lot of chisel and bits to make me some decorations. But I figured that I need to finish this first before hiring her, because that way she can get an idea of what I'm going for and so on. So, normal delay. Here it is. That is what it looks like. I got 19 patrons up there. There's one statue empty, but we're going to leave that empty. That's no problem. And you guys see what color scheme I went with. All diamond and gold. I even made some custom diamond trees here on the side because I wanted to have something. It looked very empty. I did remove that bridge that was going from the left to the right, because initially I was thinking of putting like more plants and so on in here. But thinking of it, I figured if you could time travel back in the days, right, and you could go visit one of these temples when it was new and in a pristine condition, I don't think you would have vines and bushes, you know. It would just be a real marble palace with lots of gold, and that's at least how I envision it, okay? We don't have any proof what they actually did there. Everything is speculation because we don't have any photographs or anything. But, so here we go. You guys see, we're going to start here with Caroline S. Everybody that I had an in-game name has a head instead of the helmet. And I also used their in-game name. Some people have a little bit of a changed name. For example, Minecraft Mom, which is known to everybody in the community as ftog'ians. I actually used that name. And I think only one person. I could actually not fit the whole name, and that was Sparky Zapper. But I'll show you guys in a second, so I'm just going to go ahead and cruise down here and show everybody's statue and name. So again, Caroline S. Then we got Boomstick. Oi! I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's 3 O's, 2 E's, and a Y. We got Dilbert. I also cut off numbers in the end. I believe Dilbert is Dilbert 69, I believe, something like that. You know, if there's numbers, I took those off. And then we have Rob Van B. Of course, I did not spell out the family names, guys, just to make sure that, you know, keep privacy. We got Timothy S. Let me know how you guys like that lettering, by the way. I wanted to have a little bit fun with it. And I guess it could be almost like hieroglyphs when you look at it, or an old way of writing. Then we got Scaleno. An empty one. We got Furrick. And we got Q. That's the only thing I know. That's how you signed up on Patreon. I don't know an IGN or a full name. I just know Q. Thank you very much. Alright, and now let's go ahead and start on the bottom layer. We got M. Jocelyn. We got Grey Wolf. We got ftog'ians. We got Sparky, which is actually Sparky Zapper, but that is way too long. I couldn't fit that. Oh, we got Smash. And then on the other side we have Crimson. Wild Rascal. That's pretty much the max amount of letters I could fit. And of course we got Glitch. Shack 2. And last but not least, Slight. Also the numbers cut off. Everybody got their bronze swords. And I did play around a little bit with the water feature because I wanted to have something. It looked too empty with just the pedestals for all you, right? So I added these little fountains up here that run through in the bottom and then in kind of like a bird bath. I don't know. I do like the overall. I think it looks very... I don't think majestic is the right word I'm looking for. It looks very... fancy, I guess. It's the easiest word I can come up with. And I hope you guys really enjoy it as well. Again, my patrons are supporting me financially very much. It's much appreciated. But of course, I don't want to forget to say thank you to all other viewers that support me by viewing the videos, commenting and liking on them. It's very, very much appreciated, okay? I love everybody that watches my videos and enjoys them. It means a great deal to me. But the patrons, of course, they take a financial responsibility on themselves to support me, which means a lot. I mean, this is really amazing that you guys pay me with your hard-earned money to keep making videos, and I love every moment of it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. And I want to hear your comments on it. If there's any ideas you guys have on, you know, making this maybe without having to have writing. I didn't even try the banners, guys. I really wanted to finish this episode and get it out because I'm hanging out with a lot of the patrons on voice chat on Discord every day. And they just hear me talking about this for 3 days, and they, of course, also want to see what it finally looks like. So I just wanted to get this episode done finally and upload it so you guys can see it. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.